where he struggles with really wanting to take the action.
Why do you think that so he's lazy in the relationships but not in work?
It shows up differently, I think, in work. I know you had mentioned something about, isn't the H in ADHD have to do with
Yes,
right?
hyperactivity, yeah.
Yeah, so I think with work, it's more of like a hyperactivity. And then,
So he like can hyper
so
focus
it's,
on work. Mm-hmm.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, absolutely. But when it comes to us, like, it's not so, it can be, but not so much. That's where I think I see most of the attention problem sometimes.
Got it.
Which again, coming from a relationship point of view, being with someone with ADHD, it can be obvious and understandable that that would be uncomfortable because, from what you've said and what you posted, it seems like someone with ADHD can have a tendency to not give the partner the attention that they
Mm-hmm.
desired.
Mm-hmm.
Because the attention is put
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, in this article that I had pulled up earlier, and I think you shared this with me too, because we were getting excited about, wow, it's not just, you who struggles with this, it's a lot of others out there. And
Yeah.
it's again, you could talk about this more, but a lot is, recognizing the signs and the symptoms and how you as a partner can support the person. But individuals with ADHD in a relationship can be forgetful, disorganized, distracted, irresponsible, communicate poorly, and overreact emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Chad was also writing in one of their articles that if you are a parent with a child, it could be really overwhelming because of the executive functions. And the adult with ADHD can forget things that are being told, say things without thinking, zoning out in conversations, trouble dealing with frustration, trouble starting on tasks, which is that initiation, underestimating times to complete tasks, leaves a mess around the house, or doesn't finish household projects. So those are just some areas how it can show up in a relationship.
Yeah, the zoning out is a big one, and the forgetfulness. It seems like his mind moves so fast that it's like he's so quick that he doesn't remember the details. So he'll remember like a story, just the broad part of it, but when it comes to like the critical details of like a problem, he won't remember that. And it's also like the zoning out when I'll talk to him, like I literally lose his attention within, if I don't say something quick or if it even becomes a little bit wordy, it's like his eyes get glossed over and he's either looking at my nose or he's looking through me or he's looking
at your nose. Is he nervous?
When you look at someone and you're like, you're not looking at me. You're looking at my nose. You're someone else.
Aww. So how do you deal with that?
You know what as a coach, it's really important to, not, so women as women naturally, because here comes a little bit of a difference between men and women, is like women naturally build oxytocin. Like you and I are building oxytocin right now because women love to talk. Like we can talk to each other forever. You ever meet someone that you have a connection with, like you, Brooke, that we can talk all day, and men sometimes don't talk as much. So then you add the ADHD in there and it's like, you really got to be careful. And we all have a partner relationship. So what we can do for someone, I think, and maybe you can tell me if this is wrong, but as a partner is keep it simple. That whole tool of like KISS, KISS, we use it in sales, you use it in marketing, and it's kind of like use it with your partner, especially if they've been diagnosed with ADHD. Keep it simple, silly. So, or you could keep it simple and
I like
sassy.
that one.
Keep it simple and sexy.
Those are all positive.
Because I know, like, honestly, Brooke, I mean, it's so funny. I can watch him, and the second it starts getting wordy, it's the eyes glaze over. It's pretty funny. And I used to get upset about it, and now I just kind of laugh about it, and I kind of just tell myself, because I remember you have to keep the focus on ourselves. It's like, I'm just like, there's nothing to do with me. Jess, your part is you just got a little wordy. So how can you reframe that and keep it shorter?
Do you ever ask him the best way that he understands and processes what you're saying, or like the best way for him to really communicate?
I have asked him a couple of times, are you even listening to me? Or I'll say something like, do you know what I just said? And just to test him. And it's funny because he'll repeat exactly what I said. And but then the next day he won't remember.
Yeah, so that working
he
memory.
won't remember the details.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
frustrating.
yeah.
So I know that you've dealt with a lot of adversity in the relationship. So I'm just curious if you could share with the viewers your story on how you became a women's relationship coach and how that's impacted your relationship.
Definitely. So there's other stuff involved in my relationship too, not just the ADHD. So it's been complicated, but I've kind of taken it as a challenge. And what's happened with me is I've also worked with a coach, and that's how I became a coach, because she made such a huge impact on my life, and she shifted my perspective in a way that I would have never looked at things the way I do today. In 1 minute, like old Jesyka, like I had to lose myself to gain myself again. Basically, it's like I had to drop all these old behaviors of dealing with someone, because there's only so much complaining, nagging, scolding you can do before someone shuts down. And I think you've mentioned with the ADHD stuff that it becomes like a parent-child relationship, and then here you are, you become mom, and then they become son, and then you wonder why you're not getting the results that you want in the relationship. The sex has died down, you're fighting, they shut down, they're isolating, and so what I had to really do was just learn how to like laugh at myself, let him have himself, and acceptance is the biggest key. And instead of getting angry at him, instead of like putting the focus on him, I really had to learn how to put the focus on myself. So I think to the viewers out there, some, people who are dating someone with ADHD, it's like you really have to just get into acceptance that it is what it is. And you're not going to be able to jump in there and fix him. That's why you hire Coach Brooke, because she can get in there and help work with like the certain things with ADHD and get in their head and help shift their perspective. But as a partner, you can't. As a partner, you have to focus on yourself and not on them.
And it's just so, I am obsessed with your social media too on Instagram, and how every relationship is a mirror of yourself. And it's extremely challenging for someone with ADHD to be in a relationship, because what they're getting back from the other person is a mirror of their self. Exactly. Especially if they don't know that they have ADHD. So that's a whole other ball game. It's like, if you're starting to date someone and you have adult ADHD, when do you tell your partner, hey, I'm struggling with this? Because that other person is new. You are not sure how they're going to react, positive or negative. And, if they do know that you have it, then the more that they understand what ADHD is and what it isn't, they could be more accepting of certain behaviors.
Exactly. Knowledge is power. So not only are you good for coaching with people with ADHD, but it's important, I think, for, women or men that are with a partner with ADHD. It's really, following you on Instagram has been awesome, because you're, like you said, knowledge is power. The more I know about, the conditions or the experiences that someone with ADHD is going through, the more compassion I can find and the more acceptance I can find, because it's like, it is what it is.
Right. And that's where you come in. I'm sorry. I know we keep singing each other's praises, but
this is our banter.
Yeah, we were very nervous about this interview beforehand, because we're like, do we need to put questions down? And no. But this is really where you come in, because a relationship, again, is tough to begin with. And then you add that component in, and the partner who may be neurotypical may need help trying to figure out how to make this relationship work. And you did that for yourself. And I'm sure you're having much success